YouTube censorship strikes yet again, and it's striking in all the wrong places as per usual. Not that there is a right place for censorship to strike. Jordan Chariton says, hey, YouTube, Team YouTube. He should have tagged YouTube creators too, because they're the ones who are actually a little bit responsive. Now you've taken down Status Coup and John Farina Photo's historic footage from Capitol attack, claiming it's spam or advances false claims of widespread fraud, errors, or glitches in the 2020 election. So let me explain a little bit about what happened here. This guy, who apparently works for Jordan Chariton, Status Coup, he was at the attempted insurrection, the diet coup, as I call it. And he got some amazing footage from this thing. It was up on YouTube. Apparently it was up for a while, and YouTube just pulled it down. It's absurd to say that this is advancing false claims because they didn't advance anything. It's just footage of what was going on. So there are no false claims that are being advanced. It's documenting what happened. And if anything, Jordan Chariton's outlet has done the exact opposite of advancing the false claims. He was a strong critic of the nonsense fraudulent election, rigged election theories. He knows it's bullshit. He's called it out. He's called it out on that channel. So that it's not true what they're saying here. What they're saying is provably, verifiably, demonstrably false. It's not right. So they pull it down. Here's the cherry on top that really pissed me off. Apparently, CNN and MSNBC, and maybe even other outlets, have used that same footage from this guy. They've put it up on their respective outlets, and their stuff is still up. So the same footage being used by corporate media outlets, that gets to stay, but the footage on an independent media outlet where it originated, that gets pulled down. Do you see the problem now? This is everything about YouTube that's negative in one story. Everything about it that's negative in one story. The censorship, which is crazy. It's also just not targeted and dumb. And also the screwing of independent media and the propping up of corporate media. I don't even need to add any commentary to this segment because it's all there right in front of you. They have algorithms that screw the little guy, screw new media, independent media, and they have algorithms that bolster the worst of the worst, that bolster corporate media. By the way, corporate media gets stuff wrong all the time, and there's no penalties whatsoever. The algorithm doesn't derank them. There's no censorship of them. It's always just, we've put them in this top echelon. We've put them at the top of the hierarchy, so they get a pass for everything because they're one of the good guys. They're one of the good outlets. Doesn't matter how wrong they get stuff. Doesn't matter if they got stuff wrong on Syria or Russiagate or you name it. I mean, now the Washington Post just did a thing today where they argued Trump's tax cuts for the rich actually weren't mostly for the rich when they were. It was a bullshit fact check. Is the Washington Post, now obviously I don't know if they have a YouTube, they do have a YouTube channel I think, but are they going to get, if they do something on that, are they going to get deranked or is that going to be censored? When Jake Tapper does a bullshit fact check that's a non-fact check of Medicare for All, is that segment going to get pulled down? It's got a 90% dislike rate. He lies and says, it doesn't save money when Medicare for All saves $5 trillion over a decade, according to the University of Massachusetts Amherst, a detailed study they did. They get stuff wrong all the time, and there are no consequences. Here we have a situation where it's not even that Jordan and Status Quo are getting anything wrong. They got nothing wrong at all. At all. This is just documenting what happened, and they get knocked as if they said something wrong and did something wrong. And also, other outlets can use their stuff, no problem. Unacceptable, man. Unacceptable. Treat independent media and new media the same in the algorithm as you treat corporate media. Treat us the same. Don't, put us in an unfavored status because we're borderline content where it doesn't spread to as many people. It's not recommended as much. Don't do that. Also, stop with the bullshit censorship. The censorship is bad enough as is, even if it was working as it was supposed to function. But it's not even working the way it's supposed to function. This is exactly what happened with Adpocalypse. They were like, oh my God, a Nestle ad or something ran on a Nazi channel. Let's defund all of news and politics. And then, if you were doing a segment criticizing some sort of white supremacist or whatever, they couldn't differentiate between you criticizing a white supremacist and you supporting white supremacy. The whole system's a mess. It's a mess. Treat everybody equally under the algorithm. Treat everybody equally under the algorithm. And there should be, only in cases of direct threats of violence and like doxing and harassment, should there be anything pulled down, and there should be an open, transparent process where it's not just a Silicon Valley oligarch dictator who gets to determine what goes on. We gotta move in the right direction here, because this is as bad as it gets. Hurting independent media for no reason. Corporate media can use the footage of independent media. I mean, censorship gone awry. All of it is unfolding right in front of us. And unfortunately, way too many people are happy to cheer on censorship and deplatforming when the chickens are coming home to roost.